Hello and welcome to this tutorial on EdPuzzle. EdPuzzle is a website and not a Chrome extension which can be used to monitor pupil engagement and participation through videos. To start off, you need to go to edpuzzle.com and log in as a teacher. You can use your Google Edmodo account or any email address, but I suggest you use your Google Classroom account so that it syncs with your classes automatically. So let's take a look at how to do that and how to set up the classes. So once you're on Edmodo, you can see classes is on the top right hand side of the screen, so my classes, as soon as you log in. So click on my classes and you can then see down the side that I've already imported a lot of my current Google Classroom classes here. Basically, if you're starting from scratch, you can import your classes either through Google Classroom or you can make a class manually, and I'm going to show you how to do both. So first of all, to create a manual class, you make a class. So I'm going to click Add New Class and Create, and I'm just going to call this EdPuzzle Test Class. You can also choose to add a description, and you can also choose the type of class you would like to make. With Classic, you can track individual students' progress and pupils must log in or sign up to use it. If you click Open Class, pupils don't need to log in, they just need the class code given to them by you, but with this there's less analysis available. So once I create the class, I can then, if you can see here, I can then go and invite students by clicking Invite Students on the top right hand side. Once I click this button, I can either copy the code or link and then share it with my pupils to let them join. However, there's no need to do it that way as we use Google Classroom, so all my pupils can just be imported instead and I don't need to use a code. So you'll see on the left hand side, it also says where you say Add New Class, there's also the option to use Google Classroom. So when I click that, you'll then get a list of all your different classes from Google Classroom here. And what I can then do is I can just choose whatever classes I then want to add to my class. Once I choose them, so I'll just use an example one here, then you just click Import Class and it will open up a new class here. So this is just my quizzes test class from before. Now obviously there's no students in here, but if you did use a proper Google Classroom with students in it, you just click Import Students and that will import those from Google Classroom automatically into here. Okay, once you've done this, if more pupils come into your classroom later in term, you just click this button for Import Students again, and any more new pupils will then be added. You also have the function to edit their name, remove from the class, or reset their passwords for the site if they forget them within this tab. Under Due Assignments, you'll see there is nothing there at the minute as I haven't assigned anything to the class yet. So what content are we going to assign to our pupils? So if you click on content, the great thing about this website is the videos don't have to be your own. You can choose any videos from YouTube, National Geographic, TED Talks, Khan Academy and more. And you can also look at videos created by other teachers in Larbert High School as well. So if I go onto here and I don't make it just science, I can see videos that were made by other teachers within the same school as myself. So you can either reuse video lessons made by other teachers or you can upload your very own teaching videos. If you use ones teachers have already made, they will already have questions embedded in them. So if I find a video I want to use that's been made by another teacher on EdPuzzle, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one on Quirky Cell History, because I know this one from before. And I'm going to choose this video here. So this was already made by another teacher and she's already created this video and added questions into it as well. Now what you can see here is once it loads, the video will come up and I can play it just like a pupil could, and you'll also see that there are these little drops at the bottom. Well, these are questions that teacher has added, multiple choice questions into the video. So I'll just show you what it would look like for the pupils, but you can also see the multiple choice questions down here. So basically if you'd play the video, you would just see the whole way through the YouTube video as usual, but when you got to the stage where it got to a question, when you wrote about it, then the question would open up on the right hand side and the video would pause itself first. What this allows you to do is ask multiple choice questions about the content of the video. So I'm going to say the answer is this one and I'm going to submit it and it'll tell me that that was correct. And I can also have the option to re-watch that part of the video if I wasn't sure what the answer to the question was in the first place. Now what you'll also see if I just continue out of this, at the bottom that wee droplet is now turned green. If I got the question wrong, it would go red instead. So if you want to steal this video that another teacher has already made and made public, I can just go to the side and click copy. And what this will do is copy it into my content folder where I can edit or add anything I want to later. Or I can even just click assign and assign it straight to a class without copying it. Now, when I click up on assign here, it will bring up the classes that I have imported, so all my ones from Google Classroom. And basically what I can do is I can assign this to my demo class and to all the pupils, or I can also assign it to multiple classes at once as well, which is really handy if you're teaching the same level but multiple classes within that level. I can then also select the start date and the due date within here. And the feature I really like is you can prevent skipping. So if you click this button, if pupils do come onto the video and try to skip to a different part, they won't be allowed to. They're forced to watch the full video the whole way through. Once you're done and you've decided what you want to do for all of these parts, you can just click Post to Google Classroom eventually. And what that'll let you do is it will let you post straight to your Google Classroom page. I can just assign it here. And I can then, with that, track who's watched it. So it's now in my classes under test class. So if I go and assign this just to my test class, not my NAS 5 class, I can then go into my classes and my test class, and you can see it's been assigned here. And you can see that 0 out of 0 pupils have watched it. Now I'll come back to the analysis so you can get it from this bit a little bit later on. Now another option, instead of using videos from other teachers, is you can create your own. You can use the video editor that's built into EdPuzzle to create a lesson from scratch, and you can embed your own questions to check people understanding, cut sections to show only the most important parts of the video, or record voiceovers so you can explain concepts in your own word if it isn't your video originally. So to do this, you go to Content, and then we're going to then create new content. So in my content, I'm going to say add content up the top, and it basically gives me the option to either create a video or upload a video here. So I'm just going to say create a video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one that I already have from my YouTube channel. So I'm going to go into the YouTube section down here, and I'm going to click on that. So within the YouTube channel section of EdPuzzle, you can search within the search bar here for videos and selections on YouTube. However, I don't always find that the right ones come up, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to open separately the normal YouTube channel, and I'm going to find the video I want, which is my National 5 Biology Genetic Engineering video. And I'm just going to copy the link from there, and then I just paste it into the search bar within EdPuzzle, and it will start to load my video. So once it's loaded, there's 3 main categories of editing options for every video. First of all, you can cut, you can crop, you can add voiceovers, or you can add questions. So the first one is to crop the video. So you can use the cropping tool to either take off the ends of the video, or even if there are pieces in the middle you don't want to be included for your students, you can edit them out. So you can basically click on a section of the video, and then you can say add cut, and this will cut a section here out that you don't want. So maybe there's a video from YouTube that you'd really like to use, but it's got a little bit too much information for the level you're teaching, so you can take those pieces out so the students don't see them. Other option you can do for editing is voiceover. So if I click this, it says start recording, and what you can do here is you can record your voice over the top of existing videos so that you can have your own explanations that you use for pupils. So this is really, really useful, especially if it's not a video that you created in the first place. Finally, the one that you'll probably use most often is the questions option. So you can basically add a quiz. So let's add a quiz question here. So you can either choose to add a multiple choice question, an open-ended question, or a note. Now I've used multiple choice questions the most often because the multiple choice questions can mark themselves, whereas you would need to basically mark the open-ended questions. You can repeat the process of adding questions as many times as you want. It's really easy. You just type in your question, type in your choices here as your options, and you can even add in pictures and stuff as well, which makes it even better. And you can basically choose what point in the video you want these to happen. So you click on the stage you want and then add in the question for it. And save it, and it will automatically save it within here. So you'll end up with those little drops underneath each of these bits wherever you've got a question. So you can add as many questions you want to a video, there's not a limit. You can also add audio or written notes by just clicking the note button. So they can be audio written, they appear as little notes in the timeline. So if you want to add parts or draw people's attention to certain areas, especially if it wasn't your own video to start with, or within the notes you can even add links to other videos or photos or add extra information as well. When you're finished editing the video and you've added all the sections you want, you can just click finish at the top and that will put it into your content folder, so just under content. Then what you can do is you can assign it to Google Classroom in one click, just like I showed you previously. It will open this up and you can assign it to your classes in here. So you can always come back and edit the video further after, which is quite useful as well. This isn't you finished it forever. You can always go into your content and add extra questions as well. So now we've created our content and assigned it to our classes, we need to know how to check people progress. Now there's two ways you can look at this, either through the gradebook or through My Classes. So I'm going to show you the gradebook first. So you can select the class you want to look at from the drop-down menu on the top left-hand side, and then it gives you a gradebook for that class with all of their assignments, the time they spent watching it, the videos, and their total score for the questions within that assignment. This allows you to see at a quick glance their engagement, and there's a great feature here which allows you to export the gradebook so that you can keep it yourself as well. I've only set one assignment for this class, but if you'd set multiple, they would be along the top here and it would just keep going on and you'd be able to go and see an overview for all that class's assignments for all time. If I wanted though more detail on one particular pupil, I could click on them to see a bit more information. So if I click on them, you can just see the total score and the deadline, but if I click on the assignment itself, it'll open up this page here and it gives me a lot more key information here. So it basically tells me how many times they rewatched each section of the video. So I can tell here that this section might have found a bit tricky, so they rewatched it twice, this section, before going on to answer the question. It also details their answers below to all of the questions, and there's also a feature to add comments if there was maybe a question where they didn't get it correct. So I could add a comment here to explain to Rebecca why this question was wrong. Another way to look at people progress is through going into the My Classes tab. You can see for each class how many have turned it in just by looking at the turned in bits. So 7 out of 22 so far have turned in this assignment. If you click into the assignment, you get extra detail like when they last watched the video, which is really interesting to see. And you can basically see this for every class. So you can see what time they last watched the video, and you can see the percentage of the video they watched. So some pupils might go on and watch the video, but they might only watch 50% of the video. You can also go onto the questions tab to find out which questions the class got right. So you could see 7 out of 22 so far have managed to get this question correct, and that would allow you to tailor your feedback and teaching later on. Finally, once all pupils have completed the assignment, you can click the button on the bottom right, which says Update on Google Classroom, and this will allow pupils to automatically see their score in the assignment within Google Classroom instead of having to come back into EdPuzzle, and it'll also update your Google Classroom mark book to show the grades as well. So overall, I found the integration with Google Classroom to be much better and less glitchy than other websites like Quizzes. I've had multiple comments from pupils telling me they really like the EdPuzzle videos compared to those just on YouTube, as they feel they were more engaged with them and they watched the video more closely because of the questions that would be popping up each time. However, there are always issues. So my main issue is that I've found that pupils must sign in using their Google Classroom account to access the video in EdPuzzle. If they use their personal email, for example, it'll ask them for the class code, which means they've not done it in the right way. And if you're just signing through Google Classroom on here, it means they won't be able to access those videos. The other issue I've found is pupils have said that they watched the video, but then this website said they hadn't. So this isn't a glitch, it's because those pupils went onto EdPuzzle, signed in properly, but then when they went to play the actual video, they then clicked this button in the bottom, so the YouTube button, and this took them out of EdPuzzle onto YouTube to watch the video instead. This means that skipping wasn't prevented, they weren't given the multiple choice questions, and it looks like they haven't done anything when you go into your gradebook or your classwork. So to combat this, I've tried to make it really clear that pupils must stay on the EdPuzzle website, and that if they don't answer the multiple choice questions, their score for that task on Google Classroom will be 0 in the end. So EdPuzzle is free to use, however your content is capped at 20 videos for storage. So if you feel like you'll go above this, you may need to upgrade to a pro account, but the storage is the only difference between the pro account and the normal account. So that's a really quick run through of the basics of how to use EdPuzzle, and I hope you might be able to find that useful to assign videos to your classes and to help with looking at their engagement as well.